Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. Welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with me. Today I'm going to do another cityscape. If you're new to the channel, help me out. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I usually start with a value sketch. The materials I use and the brushes I use, I put them in the end of the video. So if you want, you can just scroll down, find there's a couple of slides from all the colors I use. It's John Pike 20 color palettes palette, and I got a bunch of mops and synthetic brush. Nothing expensive. It's very basic, to be honest. And then the papers are Saunders 300 grams papers. I generally buy them in bulk. When I say bulk, I buy like 100 sheets or 150 sheets. These things I bought like a year ago, and then I cut them into required size. I usually do half sheet, but for recording, quarter sheet is what seems to be a optimal size. And I just have an A5 to do a quick sketch. So a value sketch. A value sketch, if I can find the pencil. Where's the pencil? Bear with me for a second, sorry. So a value sketch, I do a value sketch so that I'm just trying to think about it. These are not from a reference photo. These are but simple composition. So there's a building on one side, there's a building on the other side. What we see of a tree, so there's lots of trees. And there are people. So maybe let's stop, sorry. And as usual, that's a, and then also probably I'm going to do is a building or a church or a cathedral, something of that sort. Maybe I'm going to do the tree line. So as I said, this is sort of a normal. If you enter into a street, this is what you see. So I'm going to add a little more details, understanding the perspective lines all converge to a point, and the same thing. Maybe a building with some windows and some windows. So a little bit of sky. So the focus is on that area. Okay, so it's not a complicated sketch, but I feel a simple cityscape, they're quite valuable to understand and to do. So that's the tone I'm tend to use, and then that's the way you're looking at the shadow. So a quick study to understand what I'm going to do. Also, let's have the shadow or the sun from that direction. So if it's from that direction, so you're adding the shadows, and not to mention trees. Some reference and not to mention the shadows. There's the shadow, there in some amount of shadow, and then also the building. There's a little bit of window, and that could be one building with a little bit of details. Because the focal point is that, so I'm not too particular about and I'm going to come in with some windows. Okay, so that is a reference sketch for what I'm trying to do. Few people, but that's the focal area. I'm going to try to add a little more details in the background and then go how it goes from there. Yep. Okay, so I just need to, okay, so I'm looking at roughly about maybe, let me just give a little more room for a building. So let's say, okay, so that's a typical building or a cathedral or a dome. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way on this side, add features, and on this side I'm going to come in. Okay, maybe to here. Okay. Somewhere about that length. So maybe the eye level, and I'll add more people. Okay, and some stuff going on. The tree line is over here, and there's a bunch of windows. Okay, I will work with that. So we'll have a slightly clear sky. I'm gonna go a little cerulean blue. So I'm just paying a little attention. If it overlaps, it's not the end of the world. But I'm gonna just do that. Maybe it's a little dark. I'm gonna take out a, as long as it's wet, you can take that out. I'm gonna come in burnt umber. Maybe the glass, I'm going to go a little lighter. Maybe even lighter. And let's put a little bit of building in the back. Oh, that's way too bright or dark. There's some building in the back between trees. Okay. We'll use a light, cool gray. That's a little too dark. So I'm just paying a little attention not to leave a little bit of white. Okay. I'm gonna use raw umber. I think this is burnt umber. This one is sienna, sorry, in case if I said something else. Okay, and then we're finally coming in. I'm going to just mix the palette just to get a little bit of gray. Okay, I'm going to come back and then darken it. So okay. Okay, so that's my first layer. Okay, so I can work on these two buildings and then come to, or I could do the tree first and then come back to, so tree. So a little bit of, it's too much water, I'm going to just pick in a little more. Okay, add a little bit gray. Break the monotony a little bit. I'm going to slowly start working the backdrop. So a little bit of shadow, couple of black highlights. Okay, that's enough, and I'm gonna start adding a little more people. Okay, maybe I'll switch to a smaller brush. That was unneeded, so we'll see what I can do with. Okay. So I'm slowly working my way around, trying to get all these people. Okay. So now a little bit of shadow and then some stuff going on. Oop, there's another person. Something like a dog. And a little bit of people. Maybe give it a little bit of That's about what I'm going to do with that particular background. I'm going to just add okay. Let's now work on these two buildings. So I'm going to do super quick. Okay, and okay, so a little more window. And I'm going to finish off with that. Okay, so that's roughly the window I was thinking about. Okay, maybe that area looks a little empty. I'm going to just add simple balcony. It's too dark. Okay. Okay, so something similar on this side, but a little more, maybe a different take. So so these are some sort of reference. Okay, so okay, so not worry too much about that, but I'm gonna try to add a little more structure and perspective to it. Okay, now let's get to that particular building, or the church or the cathedral. A little more darker, maybe a little cooler. think it's a bit too dark. Okay. And not to mention some given on the other side. Okay, so the last thing is just address that area. Basically just add a little more darker colors. I'm just picking up all the grays, wonderful grays. I'm adding a little more blue to it. That's about right. I'm going to just come in a little more gray. So I'm just finishing up. I think I could have just worked on that dog. The dog looked, probably if I had left it the way it was, it would have been fine. Now that I've okay, let's see if I can fix that dog a little bit. Come on, dog. So maybe I just need to dry it before I use it. So okay, that's about it. So I'm going to just come here, darken. Oh, too much pigment. Darken a few of the branches and add a little bit of highlight, which I'm about to do right now. So taking pigment directly from the tube. Okay, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep practicing it. Just and then if you got any comments, let me know. I would be happy to answer your questions, or if there's any particular ask, I would be happy to try. And we could unveil it. There's no other reason why I should not unveil it. I think the best part about a painting is to peel when you complete it. Either it will look good or it won't. Okay, for a 30-minute sketch, I think it seems to be all right. So I'm just making sure it's on the camera. Okay. Let me know. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again. Bye.